I think
right?
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Yeah.
And I think all the women are going to be so mad at me.
Yeah, let's hear it. If a woman finds a guy very attractive, do you think she's willing to lower her standards or her normal requirement to sleep with him?
This is what it is. I draw the line in the sand immediately. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And I've had guys come at me crazy like, oh, you can't say anything back. I'm like, what do you want me to say? I'm not interested in you.
Oh, there you go. Because you're saying that he has to be obsessed with you, but not clingy. So that's kind of counteracting what you're saying.
I think
Right.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Yeah.
And I think all the women are going to be so mad at me.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Women know if they're going to sleep with you the moment they meet you.
There
Whether
you
they're
have it,
going to
folks.
sleep
There-
with you that day or not, they know if they're going to eventually or not.
Is it right before they see you or right when you open your mouth to say hello or introduce
Probably
yourself?
when you open your mouth, because some of you open your mouths and you're just dumb. So then that whole feeling goes away. But initially, we know.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. The secret's out,
Sorry.
right?
Well, wrap it up.
Yeah, there you go, right?
That's all for today.
The cat's out of the bag now.
Oh my
But
God, I'm going to get hate mail.
no, I don't think.
But we appreciate you being open because
Yeah, it's
people
important.
need to hear this stuff.
It's important. Yeah, people, both men and women need to hear this stuff. And now, this is a question. It may sound a little bit corny, but it's also something that guys wonder if ladies have this mentality. The ones that don't really say it much because you don't seem to have, you don't really say it during the show. But do you feel like you need to be treated like a queen, or a princess, or both? Do you feel like that's a must that a guy gives you that, hey, you're my queen and I'm going to treat you as such? Or can he treat you like a human being, like, within the relationship, give you that care and that love, like normal? It doesn't have to be this exaggeration type of thing where, oh, you're my queen and you're this and you're that.
Okay. So what your definition of treating a woman like a queen and maybe what my definition of being treated like a queen might be different. In my version of being treated as a queen, that's the bare minimum.
Bare minimum, okay.
Like,
okay.
my man needs to be obsessed with me, but not clingy.
See, that's the thing. That's what
I think
that's important with communication, that you make it a little bit more clear cut, because there's guys that may make the mistake and not treat you queen enough, but there may be guys that go overboard. So it's like
I've had both. I've had a guy that literally used to write me sonnets, and send me soliloquies of how amazing I was, but those were words, and then his actions never matched all these wonderful words that he said.
it was flaw for
Right. And then I've had guys that have treated me and gone above and beyond for me, that their words would say, I don't want to be in a relationship. But then they would treat me like I was a queen.
okay.
So that's that inconsistency that I talk about. I think for me, what being treated like a queen is, make me feel like a priority.
So actions speak louder than words. To take more action than what
No,
you say,
I
or
think-
match them.
Match it.
Okay.
I think make the math. If you're saying this, do that.
Okay.
If you're doing this, say that.
All right.
I need it all to be consistent.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I think what you're kind of imagining treating a woman like a queen is like, oh, I'm going to put my jacket so you could walk on the puddle over it type of thing. And that's not realistic. At the end of the day, we all want that fairy tale life, but we have to have a grasp on reality at the end of the day.
Well, of course. But there are some, I guess out there crazies that do want that.
And there's
treatment.
men that treat them like that.
Right.
So again, there's
A little bit of
there's
both.
a person for every person. So at the end of the day, I don't think any woman is asking for too much. I think she's just asking the wrong person.
interesting curveball question. If a woman finds a guy very attractive, do you think she's willing to lower her standards or her normal requirement to sleep with him?
Yes. We're not that different from you guys.
Yeah.
But it seems like, not it seems, women are more difficult than men.
We're just smarter.
How so?
I'm teasing. I don't think that we're more difficult. I think we're not as simple-minded as men can be. You know, there's more shades of gray for most women. I have always been more in tune with my guys, you know, where it's like, it's very much black and white. Like I said, I know if I want to be with someone sexually when I meet them, if I'm going to, if I'm not. I know all of that. And I feel like most women that I talk to, most of my friends that obviously are similar to me, also feel the same way. It's just, even though we know that, we're not acting on our instincts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not giving into our animal tendencies. We're being emotional and logical. Some women are logical, but I think that's what it comes down to.
See, the thing I see is that men, when they really care for the girl, like the girl or love, like they really truly want to give her that love. When a woman does it, it's more like for a benefit. What am I going to get from this guy? It doesn't have to be just money. It could be time. No. It could be the lifestyle. That's what it seems like. So what's happening in 2025.
That's because people don't know how to love unconditionally. And that's the problem with society. Unconditional love does not require anything in return. At the end of the day, if I love you unconditionally, I want what's best for you. And there are not that many people that I've loved unconditionally in this life. I think there might be less than a handful of people, actually, and one of them is my son. But the ones that I have loved that way, it's, you know what? Whatever's going to make you happiest, whatever's for your benefit, that's what I love. That's how I love you, and that's what I want for you. But the majority of men, absolutely, it's unconditional. It's, you know what? If you're not going to be happy with me, I hope you're never happy again. And that was just my mindset back in the day. Obviously not now. Like, I don't care enough to dwell on anyone from my past to that degree. But the goal, the aspiration for moving forward is always to have that unconditional love. And I think that's the problem. And it comes back to the unhealed and the guarded people out there. They can't love unconditionally if they can't love themselves. They don't know what that is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, would you agree with this statement that only women, children, and pets, mostly dogs, are loved unconditionally, but men are in love with the condition that they can provide, protect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
No, because okay. I've loved a man unconditionally.
Okay. Yeah, because it that's what it seems like nowadays. Just maybe you're the exception. You would love that man unconditionally, but the society and the way culture is, the dating culture, it just seems like men aren't loved enough. There's a lot of men that don't have the love that they would like to have.
I 100% agree with you. And, you know, I can even go to stats on that. Just look at the suicide rates amongst men.
Yeah.
That speaks to it in large volumes, that men are not appreciated, loved, or accepted for who they are and what they are. And that's why we have the amount of failures that we have.
And that's what I think is wrong, and that's what I think has to change. And it's, yes, there's things that men can do, but I think the ladies have to do a better job. If you are entertaining a guy in the talking stage or dating stage and then serious relationship, whatever, don't let that guy think something's going to be what they think it might be and not work out.
That goes back to comprehension, right? Let's communicate, but let's understand what we want. And I think a big problem is that men get blindsided, where it's like, oh, this girl has all the characteristics I like. She looks so great. She's this, she's that. And you guys put on blinders to everything that's
the red flags are there, but we ignore them all.
100%.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that.
There's truth.
And
yeah,
then you turn around and have this remorse and this guilt. But I know me especially, like, this is what it is. I draw the line in the sand immediately. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And I've been in relationships where it's, I can change her. And at the end of the day, that's always a bad idea.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like, try to fix it, or maybe it'll get better. Or, yeah, it never does.
I'll change her mind.
That's also true, but you have to see where the guys are coming from when they have a woman that will tell them, well, I want you to treat me like a queen, but I don't want you to be obsessed with me. So they're like, damn, what the hell am I going to do?
It's like you said,
the-
it for a guy, it feels like walking a thin line, because you can't be overly nice and be up her ass and like kiss her ass too much, because that'll just send the wrong message and turn her off. You can't be too cold, because then she'll think you don't care, or you're not.
Oh, you don't like her anymore?
or you're just like a.
But how much time, energy, and effort are you guys putting into getting to know these women? If you know the woman, you know exactly the levels and amounts of attention and affection that she wants and needs.
I mean,
The guessing game comes because you guys are not putting in enough effort, or you're being lazy. You want to get to the finish line without running through the marathon.
Also, and this is like a third kind of category, there are women that will just take you on a ride because they like the attention. They like the validation, for example. Like, I've had situations with attractive women where they took me on a ride. Like, we went on dates, and it seemed like things were going well, and it really went nowhere because at the end of the day, it was just a attention validation thing. Which, going back to what you said before, all the red flags were there, but we put on blindsiders when we see an attractive woman. So that's where the accountability falls on us. The red flags will be there.
Yeah, there's accountability on both sides. There definitely is. I mean, there's men that have to take responsibility for the screw ups that they do, but also the ladies have to, which is rare that they take accountability. That has to change. I think that'll make things improve and take things in a better direction.
But also look inward, right? We talked about the women dating the same man over and over again. You seem to be dating the same woman over and over again. So what is it about you that's not healed, or what trauma have you not worked on?
Oh well, no, I'm not saying it's in particular about me. I'm talking for the guys
You're
out
talking
there.
for all the guys.
I'm
okay.
talking for all the guys because, again,
Well, then maybe they need to look inward.
maybe, but that's what I said earlier, where I said every person, man and woman, before they get involved, they should have fun, whatever that fun may be, being alone, to be able to now join with somebody else and make that spark together.
Right.
You know, I think it's huge, because then let's say it doesn't work out later on, and then, you know, he's alone, she's alone. I'm sure she'll figure it out, because again, women have more options than men.
No, statistically, there's 2 women for every man.
Yes, but as far as you look at a man's DMs versus a woman's DMs, who has the most unread DMs or read DMs that a certain person doesn't respond to? Mostly women. Women have a lot of unread messages. Women have a lot of messages that they read, they don't respond to.
Because we live in a society where men are cowards, and the easiest way for them to talk to women is behind a phone screen or a screen. So that same man that's in my DM, and I'm not saying my DM personally, but that same man in the woman's DM, if he sees her at Target, he's not talking to her.
Okay, but wouldn't you say that then there's really no point in having Tinder, Bumble, like social dating apps are worthless? Because, you know, you go on an app and that's, you know, a lot of people have gotten into serious relationships or married through a Tinder and a Bumble,
Right.
just because they met through a swipe. You know,
I mean, that's the society that we live in, but you're saying that, you know, women are getting flooded in these DMs because that's where the men are finding comfort in doing man things.
there's that, and there's also that Instagram could be looked at as another dating app.
Absolutely.
That's so that, you know, men are seeing a woman that they, oh my gosh, this woman came across my feed and she lives in a town nearby me, maybe
And
20
I'm
minutes
shooting
away.
my shot
And
because if she ignores me, it's not going to hurt my feelings or my ego because it didn't happen in person.
yeah, but some guys shoot their shot and then they're left, they don't get their message read, or if they get their message read and they don't get a response, that's a huge letdown for guys. Huge. Guys feel that, hey, I had a shot. She read it. She couldn't even say hello back. She couldn't even give a dialogue back and forth just to be like, hey, what's up? And then just see where it goes.
So what? She's probably not interested. And why is that so hurtful? And I've had these situations. I'm not rude for the most part. But I'm also not entertaining conversations with people that I don't feel a connection or a necessity to. And I've had guys come at me crazy like, oh, you can't say anything back. I'm like, what do you want me to say? I'm not interested in you. Does that make you feel better?
I think that makes more sense than being left unread, because at least, okay, he reached out. Hey, thanks for reaching out, but I'm not interested. I appreciate it. Thanks.
How many of those messages do you think women have to send? You send one message to one girl. That girl got 7 of those. Copy paste now? Like, what is the point?
You're proving my point that women are the ones that are going to get the action versus the guys, because they're going to get all these messages.
I'm telling you why.
Sure, but you're saying that all these women are going to get all these messages, which is what I'm saying. What guy do you know that has...
Oh, there's plenty of guys on social media that are getting flooded as well.
Which guy? Which type of guy is getting flooded?
I don't know. I've never DM'd a guy.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm saying. Like, what guy...
But again, like I said to you before, if I give you... I make eye contact with you and I smile at you, that's your opening to come talk to me. If I now have to go and talk to you and start a conversation with you, I was the man in that relationship, in the start of that relationship. I no longer have the interest of being a man.
I think it's fair that you have the eye contact and the smile. I think a guy that's, hey, eyes, you're looking, with the eyes and then smile, boom. He should be able to know that.
So now on
that's
social
an invitation.
Media, if I like your story, let's say, I just gave you the eyes and the smile, right? I liked your story. Now you send me a DM and I leave you on red, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, liking your story is the equivalent of smiling. It's true. It's true.
How about looking at the story?
No.
Right away. Like,
no.
Every day.
You open your phone and if I click on it, most of the time I click on the stories, I put my phone down and I walk away. 17 stories went by and I don't even watch them.
So maybe it's like kind of, I guess, swipe, or click, just to...
I mean, for me, it's not that... There's not that much significance or meaning behind any of social media. But like I said, a girl, if I like your story or something like that, like, okay, maybe. Or if you post a picture with your mom and it's beautiful and I like it, don't slide in my DM as if I'm like you just did something really pretty for your mom. I'm a mom. Like, come on.
We get that. But usually most of the time when I have had, I guess I'll relate it to me in my experience. When I've had a woman look at my story right away, not just like the story, because if she likes it, most of the time she, may have something towards you. She likes you in some way. But most of the time you post a story, a minute or two in, boom, she's the first one watching it. Boom, every time. And that's,
you're saying like the girl that always catches she's the first view on your stories.
The first minute,
What's your take on that? Any significance, or that could be just...
I think it's just a random coincidence. If you were the last... I think it's the way the algorithm works, right? So if you are the last person that has interacted with her, maybe your story's popping up first. And again, if she's me, she's playing stories and not even watching them.
Yeah, but she has thousands of followers and she followed, a lot of people as well. For mine to be the first one to...
You're saying on Instagram?
On Instagram,
I don't think it's that significant.
I'm not trying to make a big meaning into it, but... from my experience, the ones that are the ones that have liked me or, have
you had dialogue? Like, have you been DMing and having conversations?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why your story is popping up first for her. It's not like she's searching for your story. Now the algorithm of Instagram is saying, this is a person you're communicating with, this is a person you have interest, I'm going to put their stories first. So the moment you open Instagram, their story pops up, you click on stories, boom, it's you.
Or it could be on close friends, maybe?
No, not on close friends.
Not on close friends.
But yes, but not for all of them. There are some that I never really talked to, and so that's what I'm trying to get to. There's one girl years ago, because usually the ones that I don't talk to online, but we find a way to each other outside of that Instagram world. you connect that way a lot. Like with I connected with those people a lot, but the few girls, especially this one girl, thought she was cool, right? Thought she was great, whatever. She was a bartender in a town nearby. I don't know if she still is. She was there for years. Popular bar. And she pretty much showed the interest right away. Like I met her somewhere through, a certain job that I used to do, and just all of a sudden, we connected online, followed each other, and then she was the first one clicking in. So I was like, this is weird, because most of the time, someone that I don't really talk to online, I mean, we talk to each other once in a while outside, and it wasn't really like dating related. It was just kind of business as usual. And she seemed to look at my story every time. And I was like, okay, I reached out to try to shoot my shot. And there was conversation a little bit after, all that was going on. And then, we were supposed to hang out. Didn't work out. Tried to do it again. And she's kind of went sour. I don't know what happened, where, her head was at. Thought she was a cool girl.
Did she keep watching your story after that?
Yeah. And I didn't talk to her much after that. Maybe once in a while I, commented. I think she's a Mets fan. I'm a big Mets guy. Let's go Mets. And I don't know. I don't want to know what your team is, but yeah. And I brought up that because she's a big family person. She was always with her little, I guess, nephew or something. And it just surprised me that she just kind of played this Instagram game and seemed that she liked me, but she didn't, she didn't entertain.
See, this is
what I was trying.
This is what I hate about social media. Yeah. I feel like social media, text messaging, there's so many vast opportunities for misconstrued communication or comprehension, where I call me old school, but if you like me, call me and tell me. And if we talk for a little bit and I no longer seem interested, I got an ick. And that's it. Like,
that's fine, but it seems when the actions say something than what you actually say, actually say it.
I don't think it's fair to give credit to actions off of social media.
But a lot of things happen because of social media, even though social media is very superficial and fake and all that. But there's certain things that, there's people that make a living off of social media.
Like, I mean, I 100% agree with all of that. But in this particular scenario, I feel like there's too much credit given to the interaction on social media.
I guess so. But that's what guys are going through. So I use that example in my personal, real life situation that happened like 4 or 5 years ago.
Personally, I'm very blunt. I'm very clear and upfront. If I'm not interested, I'm very open about that. I'm not rude for the most part. Again, every once in a while, if somebody comes at me crazy, I can be real nasty and I go straight for jugular. But I'm very big on thank you, I appreciate it. I'm just not interested in dating right now.
And I think that if women were more like that, I think things would be a little bit more easier, because then there would be less time wasted.
But God forbid I see his story. Now I lied.
Oh, well, no, it's not see his story. It's like
I'm kidding.
Right away, you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it's, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where, again, not for me, because I deal with things. Listen, whatever it is, get down to business, take care of it, move on. If I have to move on, stick with it. If I have to stick with it, that's it. But for the guys out there that just have this hope and then they get let down, I'm throwing my example into the ring so they see that it happens to everybody. And not only that, so the women can see that, hey, let's communicate more. Let's be open more. Let's just talk more.
But even about that, speaking about communicating and talk more, you felt a certain type of way, right? Like you talked to this girl, it didn't really go anywhere. She's still like looking at your feed, and she's on your feed and all that. Why not say something like, hey, we talked for a little bit. it didn't really go anywhere, or it seems like something was discouraging. You still seem to interact with me through my social media. You know, can we have a conversation? Is there something that I did that turned you off? Like, what went wrong? Why not have that conversation?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think you have to bring it up and, you know, be a man, bring it up, what
That's
it is.
hard.
I think that men should do that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'll put the onus on the guys. Guys should
It takes the mystery out of it. You don't have to sit there and wonder. Because I do think, guys, we do have a hard time reading women sometimes.
Of course, yeah. I think guys have to be a little bit open. Maybe guys don't open up as much. I know that's an issue guys have. So open up a little bit and maybe talk about your feelings a little bit.
I'm not even saying go that far. It's you don't understand something, ask the question, or you're getting mixed, you know, reads. Ask like, yo, what are you about?
Yeah, because
And if you put a girl on the spot, 9 times out of 10, either you put her on the spot and she likes it, and that's going to change everything about what she was thinking. Or you put her on the spot and she's like, you know what? You're right. You did X, Y, Z. And now you just learned something about yourself that you can either, oh, well, that's who I am. Or, you know what? I can work on that. I can change that.
yeah, I think with that particular girl, I don't know, maybe she had some daddy issues, or I think her friends brought her down to their level where, you know, she was looking for a guy, a relationship, and then her single friends just said, oh, this guy is, I know this guy, he's this, that, and then brought her down. And then, you know, because
But
attitude change, it went from,
But now you'll never know. Because it could have been a simple
yeah,
question.
I'll probably never see the girl again. I don't care. It's
Yeah.
fine. I don't, it doesn't bother me. But I'm saying for the guys out there,
Just
once
ask.
again, yeah, just, I guess guys have to ask and maybe be more direct about
And
it.
silence is an answer.
Silence is an answer, but also when you collide that with action, you know, silence and action, it's like, okay, which one is it? You know, which one?
Well, you're kind of referring to like the dangling of the sausage in front of you type of a
Yeah.
scenario, right? Where you're like,
Why are you dangling a sausage and not a carrot?
huh? Oh, I don't know. I just thought that was a
Oh, is that a thing? Dangling
It's
a sausage?
carrot.
Oh, it's
No,
carrot?
it's a
I don't know where I
carrot.
got sausage from.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I guess when you have a sausage link, you just dangle it like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where I got that from.
No homo or anything like that, but yeah, it's like that's all I'm saying. That I think yes, men have to be assertive and communicate what they're feeling or what their question is, what they're wondering, to get their answer.
Once-
But also, I think women shouldn't be contradicting each other. Either you like the guy or you don't.
How do you
And
know? How do I know that I like you because a DM? Especially if you don't even have pictures on your Instagram. Like, I don't even know who you are. Why would I answer you?
Well, I mean, what I was going to say is you either like the guy or you don't, with regards to like, okay, I'm going to be playing this cat and mouse game type of thing. You know, either like the guy, you know, figure that out, or you don't like the guy and that's it. It's like this back and forth, like, okay, I'm showing him that I like him, but I'm showing him that I don't like him, or I'm not talking to him. You know, it's kind of one of those things where we're going back to how important communication is. I think that's how big communication is. So the guys don't feel let down and the women can finally get their answers to why they're single.
But you also forget a fundamental fact that women are supposed to be chased, right? And that hard to get game is implemented so that men can chase them.
Sure, but there's hard to get and then there's impossible to get.
Don't chase anymore. I think
Yes, that's fair, yeah. Can't chase what you can't catch.
I feel like men, again, going back to your blinders and red flags, like you get so like, oh, but she did this, she did that. But what about all the things that she did do to tell you she wasn't interested?
As embarrassing as to say, my worst scenario that I've ever had, where I had my blinders on full blast, I chased this girl for like 2 years. Nanda knows the story. So that was a lesson learned, because I walked into that and I did it over and over and over again. And it's like, you know what I learned from that? It's like you said, if the girl's going to sleep with you, she's not going to make you wait 6 months. She's not going to give you hints for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, there's also women that, you know, are not going to sleep with you at all because of their standards. Like, I want to be married.
they're just not interested. Oh, I got
No,
you. I got
like,
you. I got you.
It's not just, you know, I can very much want to sleep with you, but I told myself, you know, I'm not sleeping with you for 6 months or whatever. And again, that's also a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair to men
Yeah.
and women to go into a relationship knowing where your personal standards lie and not sharing that. Like, I would be highly upset if I went into a relationship with a man and he had no intention of ever getting married and that's what I wanted and he didn't share that with me. At the same time, I think a man would be pissed off if a woman was celibate and didn't share that information
Right.
and wasn't planning on having sex until she was married. You know, these are conversations, again, that need to be laid out and had up front. And I've had the conversations like, I'm 100% sleeping with you, just not today.
Right. Right. I think she did mention that part, that celibate part, but I think she was kidding. I don't think she was serious about that. Because
She's celibate?
Because she's only celibate for particular guys.
Well,
You
then
know.
she's not celibate.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't believe most adults are celibate. I think when people say celibate, I think
girls
it's
Yeah,
it's not literally celibate. Yeah.
These women, no offense, mostly all these women, they're not celibate. Come on, who are we kidding?
I know celibate women.
Because they tell you or because they showed you?
How would they show me?
That's what I'm saying. So
Because I trust them and they're my friends and I know.
because words came out of somebody's mouth, that's fine, but you don't know what they did behind closed doors. I don't know what they did behind closed doors. Only they will know, and they can tell whether it's the best. I've had best friends that they've stabbed me in the back. I haven't talked to them again, and they told me certain things, and you know,
Trust is also a choice.
now I look back and I trusted these guys. They were
Okay,
like,
that was your choice.
they were like brothers to me, but it turns out that certain things they were lies. So what I'm getting at with all that is that she might be lying to you. Is all I'm saying. Because
I mean, if that's the case, anyone, and you could be lying to me right now. You could be like, that goes for every single person. It's the choice of, I choose to trust this person and believe in them.
that's true. That's true.
I think, simply put, like for guys, what would you say is like the cutoff? I mean, I think 3 months, if you're not sleeping together or having any type of sexual interaction within 3 months, I think it's kind of a dud at that point. What do you think?
I think it's a conversation to be had.
It'll depend on the person, 100%, because some people might wait till marriage, or maybe they have different.
Again, it's a conversation to be had, right? Like, I mean, me personally, it's very much based on how I feel, the person, this and that. Like, it's been different every single time. But I think for anyone in a relationship, if you're getting to know the person from the beginning, you should know where they stand on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a range from 3 dates to 5 dates. 3 because on the low end, maybe by 3 she might not be ready. So fine, let's meet a couple times. Boom, 5th date, and those dates can span within maybe month to month and a week or so. It doesn't have to be like 3 dates in the first week. It could be like, hey, let's take time to see each other within about a month and message each other back and forth, and eventually. But it shouldn't go on longer than that, because you are getting into a relationship to eventually engage in coitus, as some people.
I think if the woman's attracted to him, she's not going to make him wait. I'm not saying on the first date or something like that, but I'm saying she's not going to make him
she's
wait.
not
I
going
don't
to make
think
him
so.
wait, and the ones that are willing to prove it will do it right on the first date, just to show them, hey, I'm okay with it, because you know, I think you learn about each other. You learn about each other right then and there. If it's not good, there's no second date. That's fine. If
So,
it's good,
let's talk science, right?
go ahead.
When you have sex and when you have good sex, not all sex is good, but you release endorphins, serotonin, all that stuff, right? That all clouds your judgment. So now you think you like this person, but what you like is that endorphin, that feeling of happy that comes from being intimate with this person. So you think after 3 dates, you know who this person is, and you are willing to trust that you genuinely like them and not have the science, the chemicals running through your body take over that?
So you're saying that if you sleep together too soon, it could kind of off-put your judgment. Like, you might think you like them, but you don't really. I got you.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you have sex on the first night and
Look, I'm not judging anyone for that. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that it doesn't sound like it's the objective is to genuinely get to know the person and know if you like them or not.
Sure, that's a big part of it, but also that first night, if you engage in sexual activity, that first night, of course, with consent, then it works out, everybody enjoys it, then moving forward that if there's a relationship to be had, that the sex is good. That part is checked off.
I mean, you test drive the car before buying it. Cool. I get that. But I feel like your timeline it is very much probably your downfall.
But here's this. If the sexual engagement between both, either for the woman or for the guy, doesn't work, then what's the point of the second date? You already found out that we're not good in bed.
Right.
For that reason.
Because you have no other connection. If you are genuinely connected to a person and you have chemistry with them and you learn them, you understand them, you're going to know how to interact with them physically better than if you don't know them. Think about all the one night stands versus the people you've actually been in relationships with. I'm pretty sure you've had great one night stands, but your relationships had depth.
I understand that, but let's say you have a great relationship. Will you accept a great relationship without any sex involved?
Again, that's not a great relationship to you. What your standards and what your boundaries are important in every relationship. If to you, in order to be in a successful relationship and in a relationship that you're comfortable with, it involves having sexual intercourse to make sure that you enjoy sexual intercourse with this person, that's your line in the sand. That's your boundary. That's your responsibility to have that communication with that person. You can't expect that person to agree with you, and you have to be very much okay to be disagreed with and move on.
Okay. How about this? Have you had a relationship that you've never had sex with that partner?
No.
There we go. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, the relationship itself has to be, to have that relationship,
I've also had a lot of superficial and meaningless relationships where my objective now going forward is not that. Well, and I think it comes down to what your objective is in a relationship. If your objective is to find your companion, your person, get to know someone. And again, I'm big on science and I know the things that I know now that I didn't know then. I'm going to want to let my brain decide how I feel about the person before I let the chemicals in my body decide for me.
You want to give it enough time to get to know them. Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you draw a line in the sand, women don't want to be used for sex. Men don't want to be used for money or even like attention, right? Like I told you guys a story before. I had a situation one time where I chased this girl for way too long, and at the end of it, I felt like an asshole times 10. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like all the red flags are there, but you're chasing the carrot.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. No. Of course. I think that I get what you're saying, but I think that a lot of people I think women try to do it where they figure out if they're compatible relationship wise first, and then they, and they have sex later on, and then they get into a relationship. Like they're dating, they're in the talking stage, and they figure out. They figure out what they like about each other. I guess they build together, and then they go from there, and then also they engage in sexual activity amongst each other, physical sexual activity, all that, and then they get into the relationship later on. Why can't it be the reverse? Why can't it be, hey, we're attracted to each other, we had a great date, we're attracted to each other, it just happens, because it's not like, hey, let's do it just happens naturally, and then later on afterwards you figure out, okay, are we made for each other relationship wise? You're talking, everything, everything's working out great. Then relationship happens. So you had the sex, you got to know each other really well, you built with each other to get into that relationship. Now you're in a relationship, and you're enjoying the relationship, and you're enjoying the sex.
Listen,
what's the big deal?
There's no rule book. You can do whatever fits you and your partner, right? Like if that works in the scenario that you're in, then that works. I think thinking that that's going to work every single time with every single person is wrong.
Yeah, and I think it would be naive to think that it
Exactly.
would. The only thing is that there are guys that do want to find out quick before they spend a lot of resources, time,
So find
sacrifices.
the partner that's in line with what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't go 1, 2, 3 months, maybe a year in, and find out, oh shoot, what the hell did I do? I wasted all my
Yeah, I
time.
think that's why these days it's a part of the game. It's like you have to date around, and sometimes you have to go through that wheel 100 times, or depending. You don't know what you'll land on, right?
Right.
You might look. I know people that met in high school and they got married. Some people date till they're in their 30s. Some people get divorced. Like, I think nowadays you just have to keep going on those dates till you meet somebody that you like, that likes you, and that meets, you know, what you're looking to get. I don't see any other way around it. You can't fix the person. You can't wait around forever, right?
Right.
So
Again, it's not difficult. It is simple. And if it seems too difficult, then it's not it.
yeah.
The man has to make it simple for himself the way he wants it to work, and the woman has to make it simple for herself for the way she wants it to work, for them to be happy. But everybody, they do it in their own way. It's a little complex to understand that, but it's just what it is. It's just that's how I see it.
I think we went close to 2 hours today. So
Just about 2
should
hours.
we start
yeah.
wrapping up? I think we had a great conversation. You dropped some nice gems for us. Great
Yeah.
episode.
Any last? Yeah, great episode, great debate.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know my storytelling may be a little choppy, but I think
we got there at the end.
I think we all got the point across.
No, I'm
Yeah, I
glad. Thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope everyone kind of gets, perspective, or at least a different perspective if you didn't have it before.
100%. Do you have any last thoughts on, the conversation we had, the show, the future of dating, anything?
God help us all.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Honestly, I think is everyone has to keep in mind that honesty and comprehension is going to take us a very long way versus just kind of implementing the play-by-play that we've been living by. Kind of get off the hamster wheel and kind of really live life and take accountability for your actions and see where things go.
Okay. I think that's a great message. Awesome. Yeah, I think that both men and women have to, again, I know communication, that word was thrown around a lot within the episode. I think they really need to communicate better. I think they need to be open with each other much more if they want to get somewhere within dating. And they really need to find a way to push forward if they truly want a serious relationship, if they want to get out of the talking stage, if they want to really date and have something blossom into something special.
I agree. Let's be purposeful and cut your losses. If it's not working for you, take your blinders off and be realistic with yourself.
Yeah, for men and women. Again, going back to that girl, that I met that one time that works at the bar. I don't know if she still does or whatever, but I wish she would have told me, hey, I was interested, but now I'm not, because again, it went from a like to a hate, but she was still lingering around. So it's one of
You
those.
should have asked.
Maybe I should have asked. I did though. I did remember trying to have a conversation because I did visit her at the bar just to, hey, supporting your, was not really a small business because it's a pretty popular bar in the area. But back when I used to have my mocktails because I don't really drink, but I went up and tried to have a conversation with her, and she was extremely standoffish. I was like, damn, what did I do to that girl? So that's one of the question marks that I've had in my life. And I put that vulnerability of myself out there so the guys understand that, hey.
You were not vulnerable because you did not put yourself out there to genuinely ask questions.
What I'm saying is I put myself out there tonight with my story.
Yes.
To the guys out there.
Hopefully they learn from it.
Hopefully you guys learn from it and understand that, hey, communicate, ask the questions, and if you can't control her, so if she acts the way that she acts, hey, just move on. There's
People always let you know who they are.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
pay attention.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that lift you up, and there's going to be people that let you down. And hey, if she lets you down, push forward, gentlemen, because again, fellas, it's not the end all be all. So, you got any last thoughts?
Yeah, I think, out of this episode, what stuck out to me the most was the blinders thing, because when I look at any like screw ups or failures I've had in the past, if a girl's a red flag, you'll know she's a red flag from square one. Same thing goes for men with women, right? Don't have your blinders on. I think nowadays what guys need to do more of is approach more. You heard it from, you said it before, right? You get DMs all day long. I think women appreciate it more. They find it more attractive when a man approaches you in person. Guys don't really do it that much. You said it before. Sometimes you go out and like not a single guy approaches. I think guys need to do more of that. Nowadays, I think you just have to date around and find somebody that meets what you're looking for, because just complaining about dating or women is not going to fix anything. So,
Agreed, big time. Awesome. So, thank you, Daisy, for coming on the show. You want to drop your socials one last time for the
Of course.
fellas and ladies out there?
Again, it's day 531. And from there, you can find Emotional Nudity, Favor Home, and Champagne and Holy Water.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for coming on. And again, for Daisy and Rob, I'm Nando. We are the podcast guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Spotify, the podcast guys on there. We're also on IG, Instagram, the podcast guys _, and also on TikTok and Rumble, the podcast guys 5 on X. Support us there. I try to at least post and share some interesting stuff that pops up on X, so follow us there. And until next time, peace.